Hello and thanks for joining me on the channel. Today we were going to do the aircon on the Jackaroo, but unfortunately I did all the video and I deleted it and couldn't get it back. So we're going to have a different plan. So today we're going to have a video of the aircon on Rob's ute. Okay, so the history of this is the aircon hasn't worked in the 2 years he's owned the ute. We're going to have a look and see if we can see what the problem is. We don't know if there's a leak, we don't know if there's any refrigerant in it, we don't know if it's the compressor, it could be anything. So we're going to do that. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the gauges and I'm going to connect up the aircon. So I'll leave the video on while I do that and you can see how I go on. The first thing you do, you make sure that these taps are off, so we have got no cross contamination. Alright, so here's the high pressure side, there's the low pressure side. High pressure side's on, there's a little bit of cool refrigerant in it. Low pressure side's on, there's refrigerant in it. Okay, so I'll let you see. So what we've done effectively is we've connected up the low pressure side and the high pressure side, and then the gauges are reflecting what we've got. So we're okay on the low pressure side, the high pressure side is pretty low. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that off for a minute and we're going to start the engine. So I'll put you back over here while we do that. So with the ute being a manual and me not trusting the handbrake and our steep drive, I've just chopped the wheel. So I think I know what the issue is already. So on the high pressure and low pressure outlets, inlets or whatever you want to call them, there's a cap, and inside the cap is an O-ring, and that O-ring is a secondary device because Schrader valves are not very good at holding pressure sometimes. But on the cold side, on the low pressure side, he's just got this, and I think that this is his issue. So here I am apologising again. When I recorded the original aircon video on the Jackaroo, the issue I had was I accidentally deleted a file when I was putting the video together. It was the introduction file, and what I've done, it seems that I didn't have the camera running for the second half of Rob's ute video. So what I'm going to have to do is interact them both. So I've got to the point where I've located the issue with Rob's ute, and I'm about to charge up the system. Unfortunately, the video has gone, or has never been recorded. So what I'll do is when it gets to that point and I've found out it was the cap that caused the issue, I'm going to switch over now to the Jackaroo to show you how charging goes because I obviously never filmed the charging. It's the same principle, everything's the same, apart from I'll just be putting 1 or 2 tubes worth in rather than half a can like I did for Rob. So yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so I've connected up the yellow hose to here, and I've pierced the can, and you can see in the hole there, a minute ago you could see the refrigerant. I'll turn the can on again and see if you can see it flowing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the low pressure side, and you can see the refrigerant in there flowing through, and I'm going to close it off again. Now you see the refrigerant gauge has climbed slightly. What I'm effectively doing is emptying the contents of the pipe into the refrigerant gauge. You see how it's climbing slightly? Right, under every bonnet there is a refrigerant sticker, and that tells you what we should have. So that's in weight. Now you can use a weighing scale to do this. Just going to put you over here while I finish this off. Okay, so I've got enough refrigerant in there now. And we'll see what the temperature looks like. About 5 degrees, and it's blowing nice and cold. It's actually 4 degrees, see, blowing nice and cold. So we're going to leave it at that, I think. Turn it off and turn the engine off. So that's that completed. All that's left to do now is to vent the hoses and get the caps back on. So these caps are quite essential. You've got your high pressure cap and your low pressure cap, and you can see that they're different sizes. There is an O-ring seal in these, and because Schrader valves in there is a Schrader valve. Now let me show you. I've got some Schrader valves somewhere. Where have I put them? There. So these are Aircon Schrader valves, all different sizes, and they fit in there. Now that allows you to put the pressure in and take the pressure out, etc., etc. So Schrader valves leak, and these caps have an O-ring in and like a secondary seal, if you like, so if it does seep, it will leak a little bit. Now it is normal when you take these caps off that it might hiss slightly, because there might be a bit of pressure behind it. Okay, now then, what you've got to do, you're going to make sure that both your taps are turned off. They should be, yes. Okay, now I can vent this one like so, and that looks nice and clean in there, so I'll refit the cap and we're good to go. Now this high pressure one might pop a little bit. Of course I would have put it in the most awkward place, like so. You might get a bit of popping, and you can see there is dye all over the end of that. Now, a bit of brake cleaner works wonders on that. Let me find the brake cleaner. Where's it gone? I did have some brake cleaner there. So I'm going to spray down with a brake cleaner. We'll just let that evaporate slightly, and then I'll put the cap back on. So they click on and then they screw down tight. Okay, so let me just show you once more with this. The cap comes off, it goes on, and then screws down tight. That's it, tight there. That one's tight. So now what we've got to do is clean the end of that one. So just bear with me a sec while I get some spray. So just got to clean off the dye off here. The green stuff is the dye, and that works well. The problem is it's all in the pipe. That's where it's all coming from. Okay, now we've got that off, we've got to get this off. Now here's a word of warning. Some of these cylinders you have to puncture, but other cylinders I've got like a Schrader valve in. See, that's off. Whereas some of them you have to tighten them down to turn them off. Okay? Just bear that in mind. Right, let's have a look. The blue cap off the end of that. I'm going to screw the cap back on here so that doesn't come in. That thread doesn't look right. Thread looks locked. Okay. That's my refrigerant done. Got a fresh bottle here too. Right, the yellow pipe's vented. We can remove these up here. And now we're all done. As soon as I get my vacuum gauge, we'll be able to evacuate this. When you do your whole fill from empty, after you've had done your vacuum, so when you fill it from empty, you have to weigh your refrigerant. Obviously you can put one in, you know how much that weighs. You fill one container in, then you must work out on your next container to make it up to the correct amount. It's got a 620 grams to 680 grams. So I would probably start shutting it off at about 630 grams. It should get me to 650 with what's in the pipe. And that's it really. It's pretty straightforward. If you've got a proper machine, but they cost $3,000 to $5,000, you just connect the machine up, you press a button, and it does it all for you. It evacuates it, it vacuums it out, it will remove the refrigerant, and it will put new refrigerant into the correct amount. However, I don't have one of those machines. I've only got the vacuum gauges, so that's all we can do. Anyway, hopefully you've learned something from this. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you need to look at. I'm trying to think what my next job might be. We're going camping in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So I would suggest that my next video is probably going to be a camping video. Although I might put out a audio only and pictures only video of the Huey engine. What to look out for and things like that. So I'm halfway through that. I don't know whether I'll get that finished today. I don't know what will happen, but I've got a bit of gardening to do, so I've got to get that done first. I might go on with it tonight after we've had dinner and post both of the videos at the same time. Otherwise I might leave one till next week. We'll see how we go. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you out there.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And don't forget to subscribe.